I try and always do an endurance event after I've had a child for some crazy reason to feel fit again.
Control of your body.
Back in control of my life, really.
My guest today is Kelly Robson.
If we can invest in ourselves more, we can be better people, better leaders.
She's the practice manager and company secretary for Dr. Jones and Partners Medical Imaging.
I've certainly tried to invest in education along the way, which I think is really important, and putting that together with your practical experience that you get through your roles.
At university, Kelly studied a minor in accounting. She's never been an accountant, but she has used her accounting knowledge and business nous to get to where she is today.
Always saying yes to the opportunities that are presented to you.
Kelly is a change advocate and she enjoys implementing new processes and procedures that will create organisational change.
The work we're doing is changing the lives of so many South Australians.
Kelly is a professional and motivated leader who's keen to make a difference within the South Australian community.
Hi, I'm Kelly Robson from Dr. Jones and Partners, and join us on Accountants on Purpose podcast.
Hi, I'm Sarah Bartholomew's from Legal. The Accountants on Purpose podcast showcases inspiring accountants who are leaders in their field.
And then it just came to me like a bolt of blue.
What makes them tick?
Love it.
How did they get to where they are?
I want to inspire.
And what do they do now for their teams, their clients, and the world? Coffee or tea, what wakes you up in the morning?
Well, with a coffee in hand, I'll have to go coffee.
What's your favourite scary movie?
I actually don't like scary movies at all, so I haven't got a scary movie.
Do they kind of file themselves in your brain and you have nightmares? Is that why you don't like them?
I think probably the last scary movie I watched would have been 30 years ago or 25 years ago.
At a sleepover?
At a sleepover when you were 12 or 13.
I remember being traumatised by Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger.
I still have nightmares about a woman turning into a cockroach in one of those movies. I'm pretty sure our parents shouldn't have been letting us watch them.
I don't even remember what it was about, but I don't think I've watched a horror movie since.
Yeah, it scarred you. If you magically had 2 extra hours in the day, how would you spend them?
2 hours would be pretty special, wouldn't it?
I knew you'd like this one.
14 hours a week. Amazing. Look, I think 2 hours a day, probably something creative. So, learn to speak French.
Oh.
Play the guitar.
Yes.
Just invest, I think, in yourself or, in myself. I think, if we can invest in ourselves more, we can be better people, better leaders.
Happier,
better mothers, better partners.
That's so true.
I think it's viewed so much as a luxury.
Yeah. Well, it is, obviously, if that's
it is, but
what you're saying you would add.
Yeah, but 2 hours to make yourself a better person would be pretty good every day.
It'd be awesome. Your story at Dr. Jones is an interesting one. It began as an 18-month project, and here you are 8 years later. Tell us about that.
So I started at Dr. Jones in 2011. I had finished up at Adelaide City Council in an HR role, and I had decided to spend some time on our family business. But an opportunity came along to work at Dr. Jones and Partners with a group of doctors. They had actually resigned when I started, and they were looking at setting up in competition. But then we were able to successfully negotiate for the doctors to buy back a majority share of their practice, and that was an 18-month project, and the transaction settled in July 2012. And since then, I've been working with the doctor group in a general management capacity and doing lots of exciting projects over that time. And still there today. Growing the business.
Massively.
Amazing growth.
Yeah.
Amazing growth over the last 8 years. And certainly lots more growth on the horizon. So a very strong, proud South Australian company.
Yeah, it's awesome. You also have a lot of banking experience.
I do.
How did
I
you?
do.
And so now
and
you're in the health sector.
I fell into banking.
Oh, so you fell into banking.
Fell into banking. It wasn't really a designed career move, but I worked at Westpac when I was studying. When I was doing my university degree, I worked on in the call centre at night.
Which included a minor in accounting.
A minor in accounting, very small component of accounting, but yes, I did do some numbers work. So I started. I was doing that work at Westpac at night when I was studying, and then was offered a full-time role at Westpac Bank down at the Mortgage Centre. And then I moved over to Adelaide Bank and was there for a number of years, and then was part of the merger when Adelaide and Bendigo Bank merged, and stayed there for 2 years, probably post-merger. So quite a few years in banking.
Accounting, banking background kind of set you up really well to manage a growing business.
Yeah, look, I think all those experiences collectively, help.
And you've done an MBA as well, so.
I've done an MBA as well. Yeah, I did that while I was at Adelaide Bank. And most recently I've done the company director's course while I'm at Dr. Jones. So, I've certainly tried to invest in education along the way, which I think is really important, and putting that together with your practical experience that you get through your roles. And certainly I was afforded many different opportunities when I was at the bank, and whilst I've been at Dr. Jones and Partners, lots of different departments, opportunities, functional responsibilities, leadership roles, or, more of the expert roles where you're working, on a special project. So lots of different opportunities, which has been certainly set me up for where I am today.
Yeah. What brings you joy in your role?
Look, I think knowing that the work we're doing is changing the lives of so many South Australians, knowing that the end service that we're providing is the patients, and that's very rewarding.
Helping people.
Helping people.
What is something new that you've learned in the last 12 months?
Well, I'm certainly trying to learn French and keep up with my 6-year-old.
Trying to learn French.
I am. So my 6-year-old is doing the bilingual program at Highgate Primary School.
That is amazing.
But I'm soon realising that I am never going to keep up with him.
Do they speak French half the day or the whole day?
So it's 4 days a week they speak French for about 80% of the day.
Wow.
Yes. Yep. So it's a true immersion program.
It's amazing.
So I suppose
terrifying.
I suppose it's no wonder that the hour that I spend per week, it really doesn't translate to the exposure that he is getting at school.
No.
So, learning French, learning to juggle work life, I think, is a constant balance, and something I'm always trying to do better. I'm not sure that there's really a right or wrong answer with that, just different balances and focuses at different times in your life.
Yeah. It's a bit of a blend.
It's a bit of a blend.
Try and
manage
make
family
you not
and
feel
work.
like you're failing at everything all the time. That's how I feel anyway.
Yeah, agree.
Can you think back to the exact moment when you decided or knew what you wanted to be when you grew up?
I don't think I ever had that moment, Sarah. I'm still waiting for that moment.
Do you consider yourself a grown-up? Sometimes I don't.
No, mind you, I'm sure that moment is coming very close, or if not, it hasn't already passed. No, I never really had that moment of what I want to be when I grow up. I think it was more always about wanting to help people, but it wasn't an exact career per se. So I think it's always around looking for that in the different roles that I've done and making sure that I hold that true to my heart.
And what's right for you at certain times in your life can change as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Certainly something over recent times is wanting to invest in the community and do more, with the South Australian community. So, maybe with those extra 2 hours a day, that might be something that I can do.
True. What's the best advice you've ever received?
You get lots of good pieces of advice along the way, don't you? But one of them from my parents was always not to say no to a new opportunity. So from a career perspective, I think always saying yes to the opportunities that are presented to you, even if it's scary, putting yourself out
or even
there.
if you don't know how you're going to do it.
Yep, I think just always saying yes and making yourself available for those opportunities. And certainly, you know, through my career, I've moved into lots and lots of different roles, and they were opportunities that were made available to me. So I always made sure that I grasped new opportunities with two hands. But probably the most recent advice, which I think is just a good daily reminder, is to try and be a better human. You know, if you go about your day and always trying to be a better human, you probably can't go wrong. Being a better human makes you a better leader.
Yeah.
Makes you a better family member, a contributor to community.
I like that. Do you have a mentor?
Look, I have lots of people in my life that I look to for advice and at different times. I don't think I have one mentor that I lean on for everything, but certainly I've got different people that
different areas.
And they might be people that you lean on and hopefully support them in certain times of their life, but there might be a period of your life where you don't connect with them, but then you reconnect again when your paths cross.
What's your next holiday destination?
I've got an exciting holiday destination. I've got a 4-day break with my husband and no children.
Wow.
Which is the first time we've been away since just the two of us without any children. So we're going to the Blue Mountains.
When?
In September.
That'll be so nice.
I should really be counting down how many weeks there are to go because it can't be too far. But there's a bit to be organised prior to going.
Are you celebrating something in particular?
No celebration.
Just booked it in?
Just booked it in and going to go away.
Love it.
So thank you to Mum and Dad and parents-in-law. They're certainly going to
tag team
help that happen.
Hopefully it goes well and they're open to doing it again in the future.
Agree. I think we should make it an annual event.
You should. Last year I had a project where I took my husband away for 2 nights. We went to the Gold Coast. I took each of my kids away for 2 nights separately. Alex and I we stayed in my dad's house when he was away, and we just did things locally because he said he just wanted to go out for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Nick Nack and I went to Tumby Bay.
Wonderful.
Yeah, stayed there for 2 nights, and I also did it with both of my parents. Took them away separately. So Dad and I went to Tasmania for 2 nights, and Mum and I went to Port Elliot and stayed in the YHA down there.
Isn't that fantastic?
And I mean, I wish I had done it this year, but it was such a big time commitment in terms of, and I did it with my best friend too. She lives in San Francisco. So she came over and we spent 2 nights in Sydney. So it was like, you know, when you add up all those weekends, I was away a lot. But it's good to have that one-on-one quality time.
I agree. I agree. So and I think it comes back to that, you know, investing in yourselves and relationships with those that are important to you around you.
And you should do it every year, if not every quarter.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I like it.
Let's talk about marathon tourism.
Marathon tourism. Okay.
You are a very accomplished runner.
Well, I wouldn't say very accomplished runner, but I do run and I have invested some time in running over the years.
Significant distances.
Yeah, so I try and always do an endurance event after I've had a child for some crazy reason to feel fit again.
Control of your body.
Back in control of my life, really, and to take some time out from raising children. So Brian and myself, we did the Paris Marathon in 2013.
That would have been beautiful.
It was fantastic. It was one of the best experiences. And I really believe that if you train hard, you can run a marathon. If you do the training, I think you can get there.
Yeah.
And
anyone.
It was certainly hard, but took an enormous amount of discipline. But if you stick to your training program, you will get to the start line.
And eat properly. Do you think that's important, like making sure you've got the right fuel?
Yeah, sure. So the Paris Marathon is in April. Mm-hmm. So the training program for the April is 6 months prior, generally 6 months prior.
Right through the hottest part of
the Adelaide summer. So there were lots of runs that were early in the morning. So normally I'd head out for my long run at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m.
Right when the children are waking up.
Well, I only had one child then.
Okay.
Yep. So we would tag team. So Brian would normally go out at 5 o'clock, would run for 2 hours, and then I'd go out at 7 o'clock just from a safety perspective.
Goodness. Yes.
So, Paris Marathon was wonderful, and it's known to be quite a flat marathon. But when we actually got there, there's lots of tunnels. As you run along the river, you run along the tunnels. And so you run down, and then, of course, there's the incline on the other side.
Oh, my goodness.
So there was probably 8 to 10 tunnels that hadn't thought about. And when you've got very tired legs, those inclines are quite difficult towards the end. And the other thing that made it even more difficult was the cobbled roads.
Yes. I was in Paris earlier this year, and there was a marathon or some sort of fun run type thing going on outside the Louvre, and we had to try and get through all the runners. And, just walking across the cobbled isn't super easy.
No, so there's about 50,000 runners that do the Paris Marathon. And so I was running, doing the run, and I was probably 12 Ks into the run, and someone yells out, "I know those legs," because I had my running shorts on. And up came next to me a running buddy from Adelaide that I didn't know was running the Paris Marathon.
That is insane. And they recognised you from your legs.
Recognised me from my my running style.
And then did you run together?
No, we
parted ways.
We parted ways and ran our own race. So
that's pretty cool, though.
It was very good. Yeah, it was very good. So, certainly a highlight, I think, and I'd really love to do the London Marathon, but it's quite difficult to get into.
Is it? Even if you do fundraising?
Oh, you can do fundraising. I think it's you have to raise quite a bit of money now.
I think that's a flat one too. Is that where people get world records doing that?
Well, I think Berlin's probably the flattest.
Berlin would be nice.
Yeah, Berlin would be good.
There's one in New Zealand that looks beautiful.
I haven't heard about that one.
Yeah, it's not a trail. Is it Wellington maybe?
Could be.
And you run with all the mountains around you.
Oh, fantastic.
But I did a half marathon this year, as you know, and I've decided I'm not cut out to run 42 kilometres. That's too far.
I think you could do it. Maybe we could do one together.
You go at least twice as fast as me, though.
But, it's the fun in getting there, and, the camaraderie and going out and training with people, and
true. And working towards a goal.
Working towards a goal is just fantastic.
It is. It is. Is there anything that I should have asked you that I haven't asked yet?
Oh, I don't think so.
What would you say to 18-year-old Kelly?
18-year-old Kelly. I think be confident in your own abilities.
Yeah.
I think probably through my career sometimes I've doubted what I am capable of. So I think be confident.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me, Sarah.
Thanks for tuning in to the podcast today. If you're still listening, you can find the show notes on our website, youlegal.com.au. You're welcome to go ahead and subscribe, leave a review, and share the podcast with anyone that you think might benefit from it, anyone that you think is open to helping us create a world with a purpose that's higher than profit. If you're an accountant on purpose, feel free to find our Facebook page and join our community.